Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Pyle. I'm so happy and excited to be here. As usual, you guys know podcasts are kind of an up and down thing for me. I'm still figuring out my flow, and I feel like I finally got it, but I say that every time. I want to just say I'm so excited to be here, and I want to give you a little bit of an update as to what I've been doing over the past few months, just from a heart-to-heart perspective. So if you want an update, just random learnings, random things that have been going on in life, keep listening, and I'm excited to get back on here. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict Podcast with Pyle Agarwal. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm so excited to dive into today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I cannot tell you how good it feels to be on here, and I really think what I learned over these past 5 months, which is crazy that I took that long of a break, is why I'm really doing what I'm doing and how can I show up in my best self and in alignment with my higher self. I personally felt like over the years, it's been so fun, and podcasting has always been one of those things that feels the closest to my heart, but I always struggled to stay consistent with it. I always struggled to really honor what podcasting was. And I realized through my own journey that I was really struggling to be authentically expressing myself in all levels. So yes, I express myself in certain things, but certain things I've never shared on Instagram or my email or even in courses, I've never fully been able to express. And so over the past few months, it's been really a reflective period as to what is stopping me from expressing, and how can I do it? And why do I need to do it? Because I always wonder, do I really need to share some stuff? Like, I don't think it's going to help people. And whenever I share those things, it always connects the deepest with all of you. And it's such a mind game with myself. It's literally a battle between me and myself as to how to share in the most authentic way. And so what I've been doing the past few months is really doing some self-reflective work, and also practicing literally in my journal or just in conversations, practicing showing up as myself, because I think there was a lot of fluff in my life and around me where it would diminish me, it would diminish myself, it would diminish the types of things that were really important to me. So these past months have been very much so about, okay, what is important to me? Who is important to me? How are they serving me? How can I serve them? And how can I show up in the best way? Really peeling back some of the layers. So I have kind of detoxified on some friendships, but not in a way where I'm like, I don't want to see you, but more in the lens of I'm calling in super intentional friendships. And once I got really clear on that was one of the biggest things that was blocking me, I have been reintroduced to people I knew from years ago who are now on the same wavelength or into the same spirituality stuff that I am. I have connected with more and more people, and just that shift of surrounding yourself with more people who you can truly be yourself with is what really helped me. So I noticed I was not being myself unless I was with like my family or Tom's family. I was rarely being myself. I was really fitting into a mold where someone else wanted me to be. And I would never talk about things that were important to me. But I think I finally figured out, for me, one of the missing pieces was being able to connect with people and just intentionally call in people, because I really didn't have people who I could talk to about spirituality or the power of healing my own body or the power of consciousness. I could never talk about that. You guys were the only people, which I loved, but not having that real life connection really made me doubt, like, am I being crazy or am I just talking nonsense? So having that grounding energy in my physical reality was super helpful for me. So that's one of the biggest things I've been working on. Another major thing that has really come up for me is, I think our health and our bodies in like spirituality, I think they're actually the last priority. I think our minds and our souls are super heavily prioritized in spirituality, especially like the law of attraction world and manifesting. It's really okay, how do I reprogram my thoughts? How do I do this? And one thing I noticed for me is I have been craving and been so called to just reconnect to my body, not from a I need to look a certain way, but more from a I want my body to be at its best, at its peak. And it's like an internal knowing that I know my body isn't functioning at its peak. I know I can feel even better when I wake up. I know I can feel like super light physically in my body, like not because of how I feel, but just like that lightness and that energy able to freely flow. Like I literally can feel if I sit down and think, I feel like the energy cannot freely flow throughout my body. So I feel like there's some blockages through health or whatever it is. And so a really big thing for me has been figuring out how to reconnect with my body and really kind of not detoxifying it. I don't think that's a great word, but getting in tune, understanding what's happening, and just honoring it and recreating a lot of the belief systems we've had around our bodies. And one of the biggest ones for me, and I'm sorry if this triggers you, just wanted to warn you, has been food. I was taught, not even taught like deliberately by someone, but I think I observed and picked up that food is kind of the enemy. Like, oh, if you eat too much, this happens. And just those types of stories. But I am really leaning into the fact that food and like real food, like nature's food, is so healing. And that is a whole level of spirituality for me because I feel like you're connecting with earth, you're connecting with nature, you're connecting with source, and you're literally experiencing the abundance of nature when it really boils down to it. And it feels like food and health is a new part of me that is I'm discovering. I'm truly playing with, I'm discovering, and I'm seeing what's the best way I can experience that energy because I think food is our energy, it's not our enemy. And I'm not sure about you, but for me food was always felt like the enemy. I always had to restrict or control or watch it like as if it was trying to hurt me or something. But that's so not the case. And so for me, really taking health and my health and understanding what vitality means to me and how can I show up in the most healthy way for my body. I think we take our bodies for granted. I know I did, where I was like, yep, my body's breathing, doing all the things, I'm here. But what are we doing for our bodies? Am I creating those environments for my body? So personally for me, I've always felt like that food body part has always been a little bit of a disconnect and a lot of programming in that department for me. So that's been a new strong development for myself. And I have really started to understand what health means to me, how healing feels to me. And not because like healing to fix, but healing to just get better. Like I have very few times in my life woken up and felt completely awake. And I personally have this thing in my head where I think that's possible. I think waking up and feeling super energized is normal. I just haven't experienced that in a while. And that is one of my biggest goals. Even healing certain things like my vision and health, even wise, like I'm a big believer in EMF. And like, I really think there are certain radiations that are in our world. And I know I might be sounding wacko. So if this is not in alignment with you, totally feel free to forward. But I really do believe so many things in our environment play a part into our body. And I really want to take that into my own hands. I want to take that into my own control in the sense of understanding, learning, and then making educated decisions that work really well for me. So health and just like that holistic side of it. I feel like on the podcast, I almost always talk about the mind, the body, not even the body, the mind, our soul, like maybe our homes and like physical. But I think there's a lot of energy in health, our body, and what certain things do to our health and body. And I think they're all connected. That is no doubt in my mind. So I really feel called to start to bring that to the surface a little bit too. So I'm really curious if that is something of interest for you. I would love if you listen to this episode, DM me and tell me if like health and your body and healing is important to you, and I'm happy to share more. If it's not of interest, we will totally stick to what we talk about. And once in a while, you'll hear some body stuff, but maybe not all the time. And so that is one of the most important things that's really come up for me, is just cleansing myself of any maybe medicines I've been on. Do I need them? Can I lessen them? Just all of those types of things for me have been really coming to the surface. So I feel like I needed time to process, because that was a lot of deep programming for me. So I think that's also why I needed to retreat. And the third biggest thing that's come up for me is I feel like I am just on a much clearer pathway as to what we're all doing here. And I just have some really fun stuff in the works. Like, we started a monthly not even one-on-one, a monthly group live one-on-one experience with me. It's called Soul Sessions, and it's super low ticket. Like, it's under $50. The first one was $20 early bird. So it's super, super affordable to get that experience. And it's like, I think 150 people joined the first one, and we just are all live. We see each other's faces, we're chatting, and I'm teaching you. And that energy we cultivate was so fun. And so that's something I'm going to be doing likely monthly. And I think it's a really fun way. Just, if it's a topic you're interested in, it's a super low commitment. It's just 2 hours. Actually, it's an hour and a half, but I always go over and I talk for 2 hours because I can chat all the time. And so that is another thing that's really come up for me, is serving you in the best way. And so I think I always have the app, I always have coaching, I always have programs, but I feel like this really interactive workshop situation has felt really nice. I know a few of you have asked me, are you going to ever do in-person retreats? And I would love that. I honestly just don't even know where to start. And so I am just kind of exploring, okay, what's next? How do I continue this? How do I amplify this in the most beautiful way? And so I have kind of a surprise thing coming up for me and Tom, and I'm nervous to share about it. Just because it's really testing my own upper limits, and I'll probably record an entire podcast episode on this separately, but that's the last really big thing, is we have something planned. And before people ask, no, it's not anything to do with the baby. We have something planned, and it's making me really doubt myself, because I think I'm hitting an upper limit. It's like, oh my gosh, am I worthy of this? Who am I to deserve experiencing this? And so that is kind of all I'll share right now. I'm working through some upper limits. I'm going to share the entire journey with you, because I know it's a roller coaster. So just a little bit of an update. I'm so excited to be back. If you have requests on what you want me to share about, what you want to talk about, let me know and we will chat. Besides that, I just want to say thank you so much for honoring the space and my waves of inspiration. I feel like I have a better grip, but we'll see. I will never guarantee anything. I think I always listen to my intuition above anything. So just grateful for you, grateful for your presence here, grateful for all of you who've messaged me saying, I really can't wait for the podcast to be back. Well, it's here, and I'm super, super excited to see what you guys think on this new wave of podcasts. Like, what all comes up? What do we talk about? How deep can we go? How spiritual, how intentional, how conscious can we go? So just wanted to say thank you with all my heart for being here, and I will talk to you next week. Love you. Mwah. Bye. So, how did you like today's episode? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed recording it. And before you leave, I wanted to just say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for spending some time with me. If this episode or any of my content has ever inspired you, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could leave a review in the iTunes podcast app and just share this with someone you care about. The more you guys leave reviews and share this with people, the more I am able to create more content for you, and that's what fuels me and keeps me going. I am so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and lots of healing energy. Bye.